Hello, welcome to game 5, and this has to be one of the ugliest games of Dominion that I ever played. Really, I can't imagine Personman is happy with how they played it either, because you'll see what happens in the end of this game here. Absolute. I don't even know what we were doing, really. Like, they should throw both of us out of the D division for how we played the end game, I feel. I would accept that. I don't know if they would accept any of it. I shouldn't talk on behalf of people that I don't know. Alright. We have procession and horses available in the kingdom via sleigh. That seems like you could do something with it, right? Procession on a horse to gain a 4 cost. How you can gain more processions. Then you can chain processions. Procession, horse will gain you a 4 cost and a 5 cost, for example. Council room, count, villain, whatever you like. You could also gain death card as your 4 cost. A lot of money. A lot of money. Now, the issue is how to build this thing. There is trashing on the board with Amulet, Masquerade. I go for count trashing. I take a chance on the expedition to get to 5 here. I knew that was my $3 hand. I had 4 in the next. I just needed to see 1 copper in the extra 2 cards. I do see it. I do get my count. Personman takes the safer route, which is a Masquerade. It'll trash less quickly, obviously, but it is safer. You're guaranteed to buy a Masquerade on 2-1, and they couple it with a Slay, which is important. Here, this is very fortunate. I see 3 estates, all of them get axed by the count, and we pass it back to Personman. So they get a Sage here, fine. Now I'm faced with a difficult decision. I have 5 again here, but none of the 5 costs seem good now in this position. I already have my count. I don't know what I'm doing with the council room and no villages, or what I'm doing with the villain and no villages. You know? So instead, I opt here, and this is dubious. I opt here for a sleigh. It'll take some time before I buy the sleigh. I'm just telling you in advance. I buy the sleigh because, as I mentioned earlier, procession on horse seems to be what you want to do here. And the sleigh gives you horse. I know I'm spending 5 on a sleigh, but what else am I getting? I could get a sage to find the count to trash 1 more time. Maybe that's possible. But I figure, okay, I don't need the sage to do that. I'll probably trash 1 more time with the count. And then I'll have a fairly decent probability of connecting procession, which I bought on turn 5 there, with horses. I am able to play my sleigh and see a horse immediately here, which is great for my count trashing purposes. Personman picks up a silver here. I mean, maybe they wanted to pick up another sleigh there instead of the silver. I'm not sure, but the silver is okay. I understand why they bought the silver. They need money to buy procession first of all, right? So here I'm going to top deck the horse because I know the procession is in the back with the horse. So there's some chance that they will line up if I top deck it, and I trash with the count there. So that's my second trash with the count. I feel fairly ahead at this point given how much I've trashed, and I'm not particularly weak to Masquerade as well, given that count can gain copper and also top deck cards. Anyways, we do see the collision here. That being said, Personman makes a very clever play on their turn prior. They bought a procession and top decked it with their sleigh. Top decking it on purpose, probably because they knew a horse was on top. So they are able to get that procession and horse to line up before me. Very good play, especially a second player puts them ahead at this point, I think. Although they trash less, so I have some compensation. Anyways, I line up my things. No, stop. We need to think. And I'm not good with procession, so I will make mistakes. Here, I could let the procession go to the discard or put it in hand with the sleigh and procession my horse to gain another 4 cost, then play my sleigh, right? That seems to be the optimal thing to do at this point. So, and I do end up making that play here. I put the procession in hand, I do procession the horse. I try to see if horse with rat would work, but it doesn't work, which is fine. And I don't lose anything because my discard pile just had the sleigh, and I gain another procession here. And I do not want to put that procession into my hand now. So here I need to replenish my horse supply with this sleigh. Very good. I top deck a copper and take money instead here. And I pick up a second sleigh. I want more horses because I have lots of processions now. That is why I picked up the second sleigh. Anyways, so the lack of traction catches up to Personman here. Masquerade alone is their whole turn. And I have a decent turn here. Procession on horse. And I am able to get another procession or a death card. Now I opt for the death card there. I opt for the death card there, sorry. Early, maybe, but I think I felt confident in being able to draw through most of it. And I wasn't really doing anything with the fourth procession at that point. Anyway, so I procession my second horse now, and now I gain another procession instead of another death card. One is sufficient. And I have options here. Options are to put the procession into hand, or just to let it go to the discard pile, right? These are my options. It does mean I'll give up one of my sleighs, and I won't see it for the rest of the shuffle. So let's see what I opt to go for here. Right, the horses are important. You have to keep playing these sleighs in order to be able to play procession on the horses. So here's the play I make. One sleigh to put a horse into hand, and then I use procession on the other horse. I gain another death card. Maybe greedy, maybe not, I don't know. Procession on the next horse, I'll gain another procession. And again, I could put it in hand, and I do put it in hand because I have the Ruined Library to draw back my sleigh here. So I do play a sleigh, get two horses back for my trouble. And now I have my last action here. Council Room is the gain here for the draw. Last action is going to be a Ruin Market, and we need to stop now. 14 and 2 buys. What do you buy here? Processions are almost done, right? So maybe you want to buy all the processions. I'm not sure. I have quite a few processions. I have at least 5 of them, as you see here. The play I make here is Province and Expedition. The Expedition is to help line up either procession, horse, or procession, Council Room. That's why I got the Council Room. This is ugly. This is ugly. This is not what I wanted. And I don't think buying Province is right. Maybe that should have been Council Room. This is still ugly, even after getting a card from my opponent. Still can't do anything with this hand except buy a Province. Anyways, after that turn with 14 and 2 buys, I felt ahead in that position. I had more processions, and I started in on the death cards already. I had a Council Room, I had a thinner deck. I had 2 sleighs as opposed to 1 from my opponent, so I felt ahead. And especially with the Expedition turn, I thought I could continue to do things like that. Unfortunately, that is not the case here. I have a lot of processions and a single death card. Maybe I didn't trash enough with the count, is what the deck is telling me here. Personman goes ahead now, and they collect the remaining processions. So maybe those processions split 5-5. I'm not 100% sure on that. And they spend some time here thinking about what to do. Let's skip ahead. Yeah, this game was tough for both of us mentally. Very, very taxing mentally. Alright, so still nothing. Let's see what they end up buying. Okay. So they had options with Slay. It wasn't even the buy phase yet. So they go ahead. They react with Slay. to put a card into their hand. The first step of their plan. And what is the second step? I am skipping so much here. Okay, and then the trash procession to gain a villain. I didn't really like the villain. I didn't think it was doing much. I thought Console Room was better, especially in their deck with more copper. But anyways, we have procession to gain a villain. Then Masquerade passes an estate to me. So they trigger the shuffle, not a bad shuffle to trigger. And they may even be able to play their villain here, which is probably why they gained it in the first place. They didn't need to draw on that turn. The Masquerade is nice to have though. It's a bit of a draw and could cause some uncomfortable situations for your opponent. I didn't really find time to get that. So they play Procession, and here I didn't like this play. They Procession their Slay, which means the Slay is lost now. And they don't replace their Slay. So they only have 4 horses and then no more. They may buy back the Slay on a future turn, but they don't have any as of right now. My bad hand just leaves me. I have to trash up Procession. I didn't really want to do that. My bad hand forces me to do that, and I pick up Council Room of the Procession, and I buy a province. Now, if I get hit with Masquerade here, I'll cry. This is such a good hand. This is the kind of hand I wanted to see last turn. In this case, I'm not really sure what I would have to pass here. Probably a Slay, but I really don't want to give them back a Slay. I want them to spend their resources to buy back the Slay that they trashed last turn. You know, I really don't want to just hand them a Slay, especially after they trashed one of their own. A couple processions in the trash there, as you saw. So I think we are at 4 processions each here now. So let's see, skipping ahead, what Personman ends up doing. I don't think they play the Masquerade here. I think they play the villain instead. Yeah, they go for Procession on villain. Luckily, it doesn't hit me twice, and this is a very easy discard for me. But the Procession on the villain was to get enough money for a province. So 2-2 on the province split, and I am able to have a good turn here. Really, I would have loved to Procession Console Room, but all my processions were in the previous hand. I gain another death card because there's nothing else available to gain. And here's the nonsense. Here's the nonsense turn that should get me completely disqualified from the league. Play a couple Console Rooms to draw a lot of cards. I have no more horses in the deck, I think. Procession is my last play here, and I burn it on a Ruins to draw through till the end of the deck, and on a Death card to clean up my deck from the Ruins a little bit and get me money for province. Can you see what I did wrong here? Can you see? That's right. I didn't play Slay at all. What is my deck doing now without the Slay, without the horses from the Slay? I even want to trash a Slay here with the Death card because I want to keep Ruin Market and Ruin Village in the deck. I don't end up doing it, thankfully. I just trash the Ruin Village and I get another Council Room. I top deck the Council Room to, you know, maybe I see Procession, Council Room, but now I only have 3 processions. It's not that likely anymore as opposed to when I had 5 of them. Go for the Expedition to help line that up, and I take a Settlers here to try to have another procession target. But my deck is much worse now. I have 0 horses in it and just 3 processions. That was a huge mistake from me. And if you look at the horses pile, Personman just has the 1 horse, I think. And they don't have any Slay. Last turn they bought the province, remember? They didn't gain any Slay at all. They couldn't get the plus buy needed to do that. So this is what I was alluding to at the beginning of the video. We are now playing a game here with tons of processions. So not tons even, we're trashing these processions. But we don't have the sleigh. We don't have the horses. So what are we really doing? Personman takes the last of the ruins with that death card there, so piles are now thin. The only thing we are hoping for now is to collide procession, council room, and then play death card for the money. That's my only source of money. They at least have villain and a silver to get money, but I have no other money except my death cards. And I think I only have one left because I trashed one on the last turn. So we have these decks with cards and they don't really do anything. Not only that, I see all three of my console rooms up here, so this is going to be a bad shuffle for sure. I do populate my deck with some horses here. At the very least, I'm able to do that. And I draw into this hand, which at least is a province, right? But this is my last death card. And it'll be a while before I am able to regain a death card to be able to get up to province again once I burn through this. I don't have to burn through it, obviously, but I am going to burn through it. 4 provinces is a good place to be here. Personman, you see, they're doing nothing too. They're just buying expeditions, hoping to collide cards as well. Because they are also out of processions and horses, just like me. Just like me. So here, this is the floundering bit of the game, really. I gain another console room. I don't think we are in any danger of pile out because the decks are so bad at this point, just so terribly bad that I feel very comfortable taking a console room, and I get my 4th province. I feel not comfortable. I feel good. I feel confident about getting to 4 provinces there. I have a significant points lead. Now, I don't necessarily need to buy provinces anymore. I just need to get enough duchies, and Personman will not be able to catch me on the points. So despite having a garbage deck, I still might be able to get enough money for duchy at this point. And the count is going to help with that, actually. The count is going to help with that. So I do gain a duchy here, and I top deck a procession. I do get processions to collide, which is good news for me, but they don't really collide with anything good. They collide with a sleigh and a ruined village, which looks bad, but there's actually a play here that I can make, and I thought about it. Didn't end up doing it, but I should have done it, because in retrospect, there wasn't anything better to do. I'll show you once Personman takes that turn here. Villa doesn't hurt me at all. Villain doesn't hurt me at all here, and they take the penultimate province, which is fine, right? They need both provinces to win. You have to take the penultimate province there. So the play here is procession, the ruined village. So I get actions. Yeah. The ruined village doesn't give me anything of the procession, but the second procession will give me a count or a council room. The count I mentioned because I can use the sleigh in my hand to put the count directly into my hand and gain a duchy with it. Like I mentioned, I just need duchies at this point, really. And I should be good to go. Second count is great for gaining duchies. Everybody knows that. But in my greed, I don't know, in my obsession with council rooms, I top deck the council room. I don't know what I was hoping to draw into here, because like I said, I have no death cards. All the processions missed the shuffle because I made that play. I give my opponent an extra card and I do nothing. Still, I feel confident about my position. You know, I have the count here. I can gain a duchy. Maybe I see a procession of this horse, the settlers. But Personman pulls a revenant here. Comes back almost from the brink of death. And pulls out an incredible turn. I have no idea how they managed to do this. But they managed to put together all the pieces. I guess all the expeditions finally paid off. and they were able to string together a massive turn. We'll skip till the end here and you'll see what I mean. Procession goes on to Sage first, then no, Procession, Sage into Council Room. Sage gives them a death card, the Procession gives them another Council Room, I believe. And then they are even able to play one more Council Room, if I recall correctly. They get the death card out, yeah, and they get enough money to win the game. What? What? How? How did that happen? That was an incredible comeback turn there from Personman. I only have myself to blame because I thought of the count play on the turn prior, but I didn't make it. I was too obsessed with doing pretty procession things that I didn't take a good enough account of the game state. Anyways, well played to Personman there, and the score is now 3-2 in their favor. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.